Process to certify November's election results has concluded on Capitol Hill. Vice President Kamala Harris performing her constitutional duty, presiding over that process and adding her name to the short list of outgoing VPs who've had to certify their own electoral defeat. Washington correspondent Joe Khalil is live for us on Capitol Hill. Joe, significant contrast today with the violence we saw play out on this day 4 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. It was actually almost jarring how quickly this process went. Vice President Harris officially certified the victory of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance to be the incoming president and vice president, also overseeing her own electoral loss in that same time. All of this took about 35 minutes. There was no drama. There were no objections. And just like that, we had perhaps the most important symbol of the American peaceful transfer of power, second only to the inauguration itself, off without a hitch. This was the crucial moment here. Take a listen.
The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
Vice President Harris, they're not the first person in history to have to preside over her own loss. There have been several, including, by the way, Mike Pence in 2020 and Al Gore and several others before them. Obviously, the events of January 6, 2021, the attack on the Capitol did cast a bit of a shadow over today's certification, but it wasn't really a major point of emphasis on either side of the aisle. Even Democrats today made it a point to say this is how it's supposed to look, not focusing on what happened 4 years ago, but focusing on the peaceful transfer today. This is what Senator Schumer said just moments before the process actually started.
I mentioned January 6th to remind everyone that democracy is precious and can at times be a fragile thing. I mentioned January 6th to set the record straight for all coming time so that future generations may know the truth of what happened on that day.
So as we mentioned, no objections at all from Democrats. We were told that Democratic leadership had urged their members not to do so, and that's exactly what happened here. So there is a sense that, this is back to business as usual and moving forward on what this certification is supposed to be. President Biden did pen an op-ed where he talked about the importance of not forgetting what happened 4 years ago, because in his view, and Kamala Harris said this morning as well, that democracy is fragile, that it takes every generation to make sure they preserve it. But again, by and large, this went off today with virtually no drama, no issues at all. And here we are now in just a half hour or so, having done that certification.
Yeah, very different 4 days or 4 years later. All right, Joe, thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.